Welcome to today's episode of the Insight Games with your hosts, Lynne, Elaine, and Greg. Let's welcome our special guest, Hallie Scott. Now let's play some Insight Games. So this one's called Sharing is Caring. And sorry, move my screen over. So for 20 minutes, each player takes a turn sharing the story of an insight they've had that's had an impact on their life. What happened? What was the insight? What has resulted? The other players listen deeply and don't ask questions or comment. Allow for silence and reflection until the player indicated they're done. Once everyone has shared, have a conversation about what resonated for you or anything you'd like to report about what happened for you during the game. So we each get to share an insight that we've had. And if no one else is ready, I'm always ready to go first. So.
You're always ready. I'm just thinking, how often have we been asked that question? Every time I'm like, let me see. Go, Greg.
Well, even I'm gonna talk about something that's completely fresh. So Lynne shared a little video with me this morning on Facebook Messenger, which was a short clip from a skit that the comedian Ricky Gervais did about the creation of man. And he was joking about saying, imagine if, God had a wife kind of looking over his shoulder as he was creating man. And he's like, oh, she'd be like, oh, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm just creating man. Oh, does he have any cool things like claws or fangs? No, none of that. Well, what's he got? Well, he has a bigger brain than everything else in the animal kingdom. So he can think and solve problems. And he's going to live through the ice age and build amazing machines and computers. But he will eventually become afraid of words. And for me, it was like, the absurdity of the idea that in this day and age, after everything mankind or humankind has been through for millions of years to get to where we are, we find ourselves in a society now where words send us into a tizzy and topple governments. And, it's just, when I think about it, it's absurd. And it kind of pointed me, and the insight I had was like, oh yeah, like how absurd is it? Some of the things I'm afraid of. So I've my whole life I've been afraid of food. I'm not a small guy. Like I've got tattoos. I played contact football and hockey. I've had my share of fights with my brother and other people after a night out drinking and stuff. Like, but ask me to eat a pickle, I'm like, I'm like cowering in the corner. So it's like, what the hell am I afraid of? Like, how absurd is this? So anyway, that was an insight that I had coming out of that clip, and I'd shared that clip a few days ago with somebody else, and so it's kind of ironic that Lynne sent it to me this morning. But yeah, it's just I'm looking at some of my fears now, and seeing through them a lot more clearly, just about how absurd it is that thing has this kind of power over me until now.
Until now. Yeah, when I watched that clip, I'll just jump right on the back of that because it is fresh. When I watched that clip, and I have seen it before, and it always makes me laugh. So I didn't, the power of words was one thing, but where I went to was just all those thoughts that I have that scare the bejesus out of me. And right up until this morning, it's like the thing yesterday, well, as you know, Greg, I was working on that crazy post. And so last night I hit post. 10 minutes later, I took it off. Yeah, no, it's back. It's fine.
Okay, no, because sorry.
Go ahead. It's fine. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it again. Look at that. Like, I am doing it again. I'm just all up there, scaring the bejesus out of myself. So when I caught it, I corrected it. But it's so funny, like, and then you sit there and you ask yourself, what are you actually afraid of, like, really? And once you go down there isn't really a plausible answer that any sane person could come up with. Well, there wasn't for me this morning. There really was not a plausible answer. So I kept this week I've been writing down all over the place. I'm laughing at myself again. I'm laughing at myself again. I'm laughing at myself again. And I was just laughing at myself again. I'm like, there you go. So yeah. My insight is how often I scare the bejesus out of myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can probably. So first observation is perhaps how many insights I actually do have, and some of them I actually miss. So thank the Lord for little groups getting together and chatting about stuff, because that's when, oh, so there you go. Ali obviously isn't like this at all. So.
She's like, I'm out here.
See you then.
I'm just glad washing machine starts to go. I don't know what's in the kitchen.
So, and definitely, I suppose, I was struggling to find something new and fresh. I can remember some insights that I've had, but I wanted something a bit different, let's say. So to this very day, and only just more or less, time is it? Half an hour ago. I usually make an effort on, tomorrow is like a big national holiday, 15th of August. I think it marks the end of the summer, the harvest or something. So like everybody's on holiday, and like everybody's on holiday, and they have barbecues and do things and go to the seaside and everything. So, but me too, coming on the back of both Greg and Lynne, something about words. But I guess my insight has been like they really can't harm you. And then before that, that's just like the next thought. Oh, they can't harm you. It's not actually the insight, but it was seeing myself in a conversation through an exchange of words where perhaps for the first time in my life, given the person that I was talking to and given the situation, but for the first time in my life, not only was I consciously aware of like, oh, I mustn't react, which usually ends up in some sort of reaction or some sort of, you need to answer this person thought. I actually looked back after the call and I thought, oh my goodness, what happened there? I actually said, I repeated my declaration of intent, if you like, which was being contradicted in conversation. And that was it. And like nothing happened. Not a sausage. Subject was amicably changed, and then the conversation tied up, and I left the conversation for the first time ever with this person in particular. I thought, right, oh, I've got Greg and Lynne in a minute, got to go. End of story. So the insight is like, oh, things change, things shift, things happen. And it's always to some benefit, always. So I guess if I have to tell myself it's a message to myself, it's like stick around, kid, because there's lots of stuff like that, you know, waiting for you to happen.
I think I've got one as fresh as they come. I think it's just listening to you, you all sharing your insights that and very much with what Lynne just shared about that I'm scaring my thinking, scaring me, just full stop. And just realizing that feels pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
I think it reminded me of I was talking to a friend and saying about how I want to train as a colour consultant, and I've been kind of watching the coursework and things like that, and she kind of expressed an interest in that. Oh, I've never had, I've no idea what colour I should be. Probably just wear black all the time. And instead of saying, oh yeah, that'd be great, let's get together and have a go, I just completely went silent, killed any connection we had when we were talking, and just, nope, left it a couple of minutes, and then we just started a completely different conversation. And all that is me thinking that I've got to do something and kind of put me front and center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just something fun to do with a friend. Now I look forward to spotting it where else I do it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Greg's going to be eating pickles. I'm not going to be scaring the bejesus out of myself. Elaine's going to be having these enlightening conversations with people that she didn't before. And Ali's not going to be having scary thoughts, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I wonder what else Greg will be eating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I wonder what else Lynne will be saying.
Oh.
And I'm wondering what Ali, once she's seen all these different areas where indeed she doesn't have to just close up like a clam and say nothing, how many new conversations are going to come into her life?
Mm-hmm.
I like that, close up like a clam.
Mm. Yeah.
I like clams, by the way. Drop a Tabasco.
Yeah, just that idea of what if. It's like, the I'm just getting bombarded with like a stream of possibilities for each of our scenarios. It's like, and the other thing that's coming to my mind is from the book Anti-Fragile. The author Nassim Taleb says, "I love randomness," and the whole thing is, if it's true that we're, as human beings, we're anti-fragile, we actually need volatility to survive. So we need to have scary moments. We need to face be afraid and do it anyway, or get knocked down and get back up. Like all those things are necessary for our survival. Anyway, yeah. It's I find myself almost like a mantra. I love randomness. I love when I'm in one of those moments. Like, I need this. I want this. I want to be scared shitless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also on the other side of that scared shitless on randomness is, because it's so, having just gone through that yet again, noticing the feelings at the time of when I was all up in my head and creating a whole load of nonsense, and then, do the thing, don't do the thing, then do the thing. Once the thing is done, you're just like, okay, the thing is done.
Mm.
Like, look, the sky didn't fall down, my computer hasn't exploded, nothing terrible has happened, as far as I can see yet.
Yeah.
But it's just all that, it's the bit before, right? It's all that noise before, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay, nothing happened. The other people don't know what's going on, everybody's just going about their business, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
It's a bit crazy. So
Yeah.
I've written down that I love randomness. Let's go with
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were just
Well, because sorry, go Greg.
you were just saying that, the idea that came to my mind was, and I'd be curious what each of your experiences was on New Year's Eve 1999, because it was like Y2K, right? Like we might go to bed that night and the world, we'll get up in the morning, the world will be over because of the, the Y2K, all the nonsense that went on with, computers and everything else. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
big nothing burger.
Yeah,
yeah,
big nothing burger. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I'm just going to add on the end of that another insight because of that, and the idea of being scared shitless and then like nothing happens. Again, when I all those years ago was swimming for the UK swimming team, the national team, and I used to be so scared shitless of one single, like, think I was like swimming in any one day, like 12K in the swimming pool, plus the exercise, plus all the rest. So you can't say that I didn't have the strength to swim 100 meters, which was my speciality, 100 meters or butterfly or freestyle. It would scare the shit out of me. Obviously the scary shit bit was whether I'd win or not. That was the problem. But when somebody just mentioned to me all those years ago, and I always seem to, if not, yes, I've continued to be scared shitless because of words or because of things like putting posts out. Indeed, I have, but I'm for sure that it's been attenuated since then. Since somebody quite simply explained to me, well, that's actually that feeling you have, which could be anything from butterflies into the stomach to pure nausea, to that kind of shakiness that the race ahead and all this stuff, and the sleepless nights and God knows what else. And somebody just pointed out, well, that's how you're supposed to be, because that's your body getting ready for the race. So it's a whole load of cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrines, whatever the hell it is that your body will need to do that. And then and I say, well, yes, but like it's, even I had the nous to say, well, I'm not running away from a saber-toothed tiger. I've only got the race to do. So what's going on there? And somebody said to me all those years ago, it's how you interpret it. So I'm just, thinking of Lynne, like, isn't that exciting that you put this thing out there? That is just amazing. And if we just could, like, genuinely go into that side of it, because it is only the words. It's the words that make the difference. That's all. And the rest's going to happen anyway. Whatever you feel, you're going to get that in the moment.
Yeah.
I love what you just said, because I just finished watching lots of the Olympics, and I could just imagine, like the 100-meter dash and like a literal saber-toothed tiger behind every runner. Imagine the records would fall if you actually had that, or sharks chasing the swimmers, or it's like, yeah, that's so, the way you put it is like, yeah, it's so valuable to make your body go fast, to imagine that you're in mortal danger. Like, of course it's gearing itself up. It's using what it knows to use to accomplish the goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking about Jamie whatever the last thing was we were watching with him and saying, I might totally bungle this, so you guys will help me. He imagines everybody is, when he gets together with a person, regardless if they're a new person or not, that they're at their I don't know how to say the word,
Paleolithic.
They're that thing, Paleolithic. Okay. And it's right back to that, isn't it? We're designed for that. We're designed to survive. And all those instincts are within us. We've just gotten to the stage that Ricky Gervais is talking about, who we're going, oh shit, we can think now. Oh no, look what we're doing with that. Yeah, that's the weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using thought as our weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time it doesn't work. The words, like, and then God invented words, or whatever it was he said, Ricky Gervais. Oh no.
That was fun. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We'll give the wheel another spin. I love how this is working out.
Oh, it's her favorite. Yay.
I wonder. So for 3 to 5 minutes, player one shares something they want more clarity on, a problem they want to solve, a goal they want to accomplish, etc. So, Ali, that's you for 3 to 5 minutes. And then for 10 minutes, all players take turns making I wonder statements relating to what player one has shared. Player one just listens and takes in what people are wondering. And then at the end, for 5 minutes, player one shares what they heard that was interesting or made a difference for them and reports on whether anything has changed or shifted for them. So yeah, this is I think these I wonder conversations is what started this whole Insights Games phenomenon anyway. So Ali, what's something you'd love more clarity on, or a problem you'd like to solve, or a goal you'd like to accomplish?
I think it goes back to having a conversation with Lynne earlier in the week that I said I need to take what I'm going to do next by the scruff of the neck and push it in some kind of direction. I'm not working at the moment, training on all sorts of taking courses and things like that, but I can't decide or can't commit to going in a specific direction. What do I want to do next? I keep looking. The easy option is to, well, it's not actually easy because there's no job market, but trying to get a job back in finance, which is where I have been working. And that feels like the kind of easier option, but the most uncomfortable one. So yeah, it's kind of clarity on what can I do next? What's a good direction to push myself or commit to?
All right. Thank you, Ali. So we'll spend about 10 minutes or so wondering stuff, and you can just relax and just see what comes to you from what we're saying. The way Ali, for me, the way she said, I can't decide, I can't commit, it just sounds so important or like final, like this is the, if I make the wrong decision right now in this moment, I'm stuck with it forever. So I just wonder if Ali knows that, she can make a decision today and change her mind tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, and all will be okay.
Yeah, one of the first things that Ali said was she referenced back to a conversation earlier in the week where she was saying she has to take this by the scruff of the neck, and it kind of struck me at that time, and it just struck me again. I don't know about Ali, but I'm not keen on being taken by the scruff of the neck. So I wonder if there were a gentler option than taking it by the scruff of the neck, and probably going to your point of commitment, Greg, maybe a little gentle exploration. I wonder what that would do.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I actually don't remember the exact words and to what Ali was referring to when she said, that looks like the most uncomfortable, or even if it was that, but the two words were most uncomfortable. And I was wondering why one would have to end up, if most is a comparative term, not a superlative term, but in this case it sounded comparative to me. I'm wondering why the options have to be between those that are the most uncomfortable. Can one not have an option that is kind of just comfortable and full stop? But I'm not. I would need to listen again to what you said, but it just those two words, most uncomfortable, just sounded out of line for me somehow. There was something about them that I didn't really get. And I was wondering what was going on there.
Yeah, I wrote down that same thing. She said easier but most uncomfortable option. So it's
Mm.
like
Mm,
the word easier stood out to me as well in terms of, you know, what
yeah,
part is
easy.
easy, what part is hard.
Yeah.
I wonder about all those dynamics of um, easiness versus hardness,
Mm,
comfort versus uncomfort. Um,
mm,
Also wonder, like when Ali said, wonder not being able to decide what is it that I want to do next. Um, it almost seemed to me like there's some kind of image or thing that's fuzzy or blurry, and there's like I don't know, almost like she's not allowing herself to see it clearly. Like it's
Mm.
um, so I wonder if what it would take for her to just allow herself to settle enough to let that, I don't know, I'll use the snow globe analogy, to let the snow settle and see what that is. Um, you know, we're all gifted with uh, a wonderful gift of imagination, and like we spoke about earlier, we usually use it to scare the crap out of ourselves. But I wonder if Ali used that gift of imagination to really come up with what is it, you know, that she'd want to do. Um, you know, if we could collectively wave our magic wands and everything, she could be exactly the way she wants it to be. What would she see, hear, feel, and know that would let her know that magic wand had worked,
mm.
devoid of any thinking of can'ts or ease or hardness or uncomfortableness. Just, you know, allowing yourself to imagine what that picture would be. I wonder what that would do for her.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, I'm wondering, sort of thinking along the lines of what you said, Greg, that what can I do next? Another again, as listening to Ali, like the words didn't fit for me in the sentence kind of thing, and I'm wondering if actually could she think about it some more, and actually would the question that she asks herself be something different other than what can I do next?
Mm.
Again, on along the lines of knowing we all know that we all actually already know in our hearts what it is we want to do.
Mm.
That's why that kind of was off key again for me as a simple question to herself.
I was actually thinking in the opposite direction of that. What I was thinking is when if we're thinking about when we're working with people and what we don't know, you know, we don't know what they want, we don't know what they should do, we don't know what they shouldn't do. All the words that I wrote down listening to Ali, there seems to be a judgment of somehow she should know. You know, it's like I need to go in a good direction. I need to push myself. This scruff of the neck thing, I can't decide. I can't commit. It's all there's a lot of judgment in there around, and it feels like a great big should know to me. So I guess my wonder is, I wonder if Ali realised it's okay not to know, and you know, to follow her nose or follow her heart, and try out what she's drawn to right now in this very moment, regardless of 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, next year. You know, just I wonder what would that would open up for her if she felt free to explore a little bit and dip her toe in.
Mm.
Mm.
I keep getting bombarded with images of this scruff of the neck thing. Like I've seen an image of like a barkeeper dragging some poor drunk out of the bar by the scruff of his neck, or a parent grabbing their child by the scruff of the neck to discipline them. I saw a video earlier today. It was a golden retriever who had nursed a litter of tigers, and then the tigers grew up to be huge, but the dog would still correct the tigers. And you know, when an animal carries its, you know, pups or whatever by the scruff of the neck. So two things occurred to me. Was like, one, it was around, you know, some images where you're in trouble, like you're getting grabbed by the scruff of the neck because you're in trouble. Others is just kind of the loving, nurturing kind of mother dog with the pups. And I wondered, is Allie the one being grabbed by the scruff of the neck, or is she the one doing the grabbing? I don't know. There's just so much in that imagery of the scruff of the neck thing to explore, and it's like, you know, I wonder if she grabbed her future by the scruff of the neck and took it in the direction that feels right for her. What would happen?
Oh, a new image just popped to me there, and it's from the last conversation, and the conversation that we've heard Ali had before, and the phrase there was closed like a clam, but the image that just came to me was from a conversation with Ali where she shared previously this image of a walnut and the little green shoot coming out of the walnut. So I wonder if that image was resurfaced for Ali, not the closed like a clam piece. Just that beautiful fresh walnut with a little shoot opening. What's ready to come out from the little shoot.
Yeah, there's huge imagery in that. I remember I must have been I think it was one of my NLP classes, and like the lady was walking between the group it was live in person in London, and she was sort of like Jamie does sometimes, this hypnotic language, and like she was doing it deliberately, of course. like you sort of go, you know, and then all of a sudden she raised her voice and clapped her hands like really loud. And the point of that was like, she then said something like, did you know that most of the time, most of the day, most people spend it in trance? Metaphorical trance, obviously, but like with very little direction, very little focus, and very little, what's the word? Sort of intention, yeah. And it was a course for coaches doing NLP. So I said, you know, sometimes you can actually do that. She said, have I made my point? And we're like all up there, ready to go. So I'm just wondering if kind of that's kind of wisdom speaking to Ali. Like, yeah, if I could just shake this trance off of myself, I might get somewhere. You know, is that wisdom speaking? You know, a bit of a shake at the old scruff and off we go kind of thing.
I also wonder if Ali not jumping, thanks for the wisdom part, Elaine, because I wonder if Ali not jumping on what looks to be the easy option of going back to her profession, that thing that's feeling a bit the most uncomfortable right now. I wonder if that literally is wisdom in action by giving herself space from that and not jumping on it.
I wonder if there's you know, more options, like hybrid options, or like you can get a job and do this, or you can do this and this, versus an either or. I know the last week or so I've been thinking about the old expression, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And I've been wondering, why the hell not? Who made that up?
Yeah.
Made that rule?
Yeah.
Is that real? Well, that doesn't seem real to me.
Can I just share what we say in Italy?
Please
which
do.
is very fitting. You can't have the wine barrel full and expect not to find your wife drunk.
I'm sure it sounds better in Italian.
No, sorry,
It
it's
probably
yes, you
does.
can't have the
Yeah.
wine barrel full and have your drunken wife.
And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Figured that. Yeah, I wonder. That's a great one to bounce off, Greg. I wonder.
Mm.
I wonder what. I wonder what restrictions Ali's putting on herself, or if we go back to our earlier conversation, scaring the bejesus out of her, or what scary thoughts she's having around making a choice,
Mm.
making a choice versus do a bit of that, do a bit of this, do a bit of yeah.
And I guess from anybody's current level of understanding, it would make sense, given the way that we think things through, and things do scare the bejesus out of us, that indeed an option that would look the most comfortable is very enticing. Makes sense. Again, that sounds like wisdom to me as we speak. Yeah.
I wonder what Ali's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
There's all sorts of things popping up. I think the first thing was, I think Greg said that whatever I decide isn't final. I've been scribbling notes down. I love when he said about the scruff of the neck, it was actually me dragging myself by the scruff of the neck, which isn't going to be the easiest thing to do anyway. But then thinking about it as a like a mummy animal picking the baby up and going, that feels a lot nicer and a lot more gentle. And yeah, if I it's just being brave and taking one step to go in a direction of one of the things that I'm thinking about. And if I'd done that 9 months ago, I'd be in a completely different position now, rather than feeling like I've got my wheels. I think I'm feeling like I'm spinning my wheels. And the block is that I'm trying to decide what to do and talking myself out of it at the same time. So it's kind of like I'm stuck in the mud. Can't get track. Or no, it's not that I can't get traction. I think it's a bravery thing. They're scaring myself with all my stupid thinking.
Can I ask a question? I know that's not in this thing. Is it okay to ask a question?
Yeah.
Just put I wonder at the beginning and then ask the
question. Okay. Okay. I wonder if Ali realized she doesn't have to be brave to do the thing anyway. She can be scared and do it, which is right back where we started in the beginning.
I heard Jamie say a line once about courage was something like fear is wet in your pants and courage is doing things in wet pants.
With wet pants, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Going back to something that Elaine said, that I need to decide, or I need to spend more time thinking about what I really want and how I want my life to look. Kind of got ideas along, like I want to do work I love with the flexibility and to be able to work from anywhere, and flexibility to be there for my family when they need me. And half of the options I come up with aren't that. If I'm employed in a full-time job, then that makes everything really difficult. But there are options, and I could, like Greg said, I could do a bit of this and a bit of that and piece kind of like a portfolio thing together. That sounds a lot more fun, actually. Rather than what I should be doing.
we were speaking if there's some sort of invented time factor on all of this that she seems to maybe believes might having bring her to have to take herself by the scruff of her neck and do one thing or another. If there's something going on there.
When Ali mentioned the 9, if I'd done this 9 months ago, it made me think of a post I saw the other day, which I think it said something like, if I'd bought this house when I was younger, I would have made a fortune by now. But then the realization that you'll never be younger than you are today. Right. So you're all, every moment you're the youngest you'll ever be for the rest of your life. So you can regret what you didn't do 9 months ago, that you should have done things when you were younger, but you're younger right now. You're younger right now than you'll be 5 minutes from now, 5 months from now. You're always the youngest you'll ever be.
And yeah, Greg, to that as well. I wonder, I mean, like, to you, is that actually true? Because who knows?
Yeah.
You can say that later, I'd have made a fortune by now. But right then, nobody knew how the future was going to unfold anyway. We might be in the Fourth World War by now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking, I'm wondering why any of us are waiting to do stuff. You know, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, let's just do it.
Oh, I have another. I wonder. Ali shared her kind of current criteria is the best way I can think of it right now. You know, I want flexibility. I want to be able to be there for my family. I want to do something and enjoy, I think she said. I wonder if there's something in there that is, I can't have that. That's not possible.
And I wonder on the back of that, Lynne, or I can't have that because if I do this thing that actually my heart is definitely poking at me and telling me that I really like to do, and it's got colour in it, and it's got a bit of fun, and it's flexible, and it's got lots of things in it, I don't deserve that. Or that's not me. Story.
There's definitely something in that. And it kind of brought to mind, I can't remember who said it, that if you take one step in a direction of travel, that more options will reveal themselves to you. I can't remember it. That's probably mashing it completely, but if you commit to a journey, then things will reveal themselves.
Well, you committed to coming here today with us, and I'm sure lots has been revealed.
Yeah.
I know it has for me. So
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
thank you, Alan.
Definitely lots of food for thought, things to take away and ponder.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to, if you have the time or the space to go, I don't know, go for a walk or have a cup of tea or whatever. Just let this all kind of percolate and
Don't do much
for you. Yeah. And please let us know what happens.
I will do. Thank you very much.
What about?
And I love the colour of that top you're wearing, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really love that.
It's same colour as her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you feeling
Mm.
since you came in?
Calmer. A couple of times it popped up during the morning and say, I can't do it, I can't make it. But then again, that's my silly thinking again.
Yeah.
No,
And- Yeah. Now that you have, how
Mm.
do you feel?
I'm definitely glad I
Yeah.
joined. Yeah, and it's been really interesting hearing what you're picking out of what I'm saying, which yeah. Got a slight feeling of my BS alarm going off again. Lynn knows what that one is.
Yeah. Loud and clear.
You said
Isn't
something
that good to
earlier
know?
when you were talking about the image of the mother dog or whatever
Mm.
being gentle. That's a gentler way. And as soon as you said the word gentle, I don't know, my whole system kind of just
Mm.
relaxed and kind of went tingly. And it's a great reminder for us to, in the midst of all the BS alarms going off and fears and things, like just being gentler with ourselves. I know for me, that's a good reminder for me, because we can be pretty tough on ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, with the Olympic theme, I think I've got a gold medal in that one.
You have competition.
Yeah. That'd be a pretty competitive space for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Ali, for joining us.
Thanks, Ali.
Been a lot
Thank you
of
so
fun.
much.
Thanks, Ali.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, lovely to see you
Been
all.
great. Take care.
Thanks for playing along. We'll see you next time on the Insight Games.